Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Infrashakti Award. With me is someone who has been at the helm of the crucial Petroleum and Natural Gas Ministry since 2021, sir? And
three years almost to the day.
yes, and he has helmed it at a time which has been most challenging, from COVID-19 to a live conflict in Ukraine, Russia. And so every time there has been a discussion around petroleum, you have often said that cess is used for infrastructure development. Since we are at the Infra Awards, I want to highlight that aspect because in Parliament you spoke about the number of highways that are built because of that cess. So could you elaborate on that idea?
Let me summarize the situation as I see it. I mean, before I joined or was associated with the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, my understanding of how the energy sector operates was very preliminary. And I was under the impression that our public sector units, which are large in scale, were essentially like, if I may be allowed to say this, I've been a bureaucrat myself for 39 years, bureaucratic outfits where the work culture, you were talking about that in the context of the Lifetime Achievement Award, that, people do that, these people are not really clued to what the nation's requirements are. I'll just give you one statistic. The profit of the OMCs are the oil marketing companies, which are the central public sector enterprises. Profit after tax this year was 1,59,000 crores. Now, where was the earlier perception of what the PSUs are? There was one company called BPCL. When I joined as Petroleum Minister, one of the things that struck me as very odd, anyone I met anywhere in the world wanted to buy BPCL. And I said, if everybody wants to buy BPCL, surely we have to look at why they want to sell it. Who wanted to sell it? So I went into those things and I discovered that the price at which they had almost finalized the deal, I just got up in Parliament and one day and I said, BPCL is not for sale right now. And the profit that BPCL has made in 3 quarters of the financial year, which is concluded, was more than the price for which they were selling it. And we would have had a first-class problem on our hands if we had that. So today, India consumes something like, I used to give a figure of 5 million barrels of crude oil a day. I read a figure this morning which said it's 5.21 million barrels of crude oil a day. We have a refining capacity of 256 or 260 million metric tons per annum, which we're taking up to 300. No matter which way you look at it, if you look at the green energy, the transition, biofuels, Gadkari ji is here. I mean, he's one of the strong driving forces. I mean, he's very senior, so he can say things. I have to be a little cautious. But look at the 15% transition we have done. Last month, we did 15% biofuel blending, 15%. And you're solving a problem in agriculture through the energy route. If you look at green hydrogen, I'm a little coy talking about it. All this infrastructure we talk about, I think in the beginning you mentioned a figure of 11 lakh crores, which is the government provisioning. What the private sector does is over and above that. 11 lakh crores was a figure in the interim budget, which showed a 30% increase every year. But to see what the private sector... So India is on the move. India is changing. Insofar as energy is concerned, our trilemma, our challenge has been availability. Nowhere in the country in the last 2-3 years was there a shortage. Availability was a affordability. No matter what my friends in the विपक्ष में वो हमारे जो मित्र लोग हैं वो कहते हैं बड़ा महंगा हो गया अरे this is the only country in the world where petrol prices have come down, and if you compare it to what's happening in South Asia, North America, if you look at the transition in other things, green hydrogen, the kind of work which is being done is phenomenal. So my submission to you is, infrastructure, when you talk about energy, you're not just talking about the kind of infrastructure, physical buildings, etc. You're also talking about, you have put in 11,000 distributors for Ujjwala in rural areas. Today, your development, your thrust into biofuels, into the rural space, all that. If you look at much of this is You're rendering services. That is also an infrastructure dimension, which sometimes is not captured when you talk about. I mean, just now you gave an award to somebody who's doing solar. Well, if you can demonstrate, as we have, that you can bring the cost of solar down from 25 cents to 3 cents, and you have an electrolyzer, you've got green hydrogen. And the people making green hydrogen, I saw BPCL do it in India Energy Week. Yesterday, somebody in the private sector came to see it, कि मैंने भी बना लिया, और मैंने कहा बनाना काफी नहीं है, scale करो इसको. ये 1-2 megawatt, 5 megawatt, ये तो चलने का नहीं. But we are now on the cusp of some really historic things. And you talked about Ukraine, and I don't go into specifics, but I can tell you, today I can say with confidence that if you consume 5 million barrels a day or 6 million, you can actually play the buyers or the market card. They need to sell to you, because if you don't buy, there are not too many other places which can buy.
Okay, since you spoke about the three mantras, the third one is sustainability. Affordability, availability, and sustainability. That is the philosophy of your government. But is it really becoming unaffordable and unavailable? The reason why I'm saying is because you spoke about your political opponents. Your political opponents say the cylinder is becoming expensive. The infrastructure growth is actually coming at the cost of poor's everyday livelihood concerns.
वो बालक बुद्धि पे मत देखो यार. I'm telling you something. I'm telling you something. Cylinder has never been cheaper than now. I mean, what is cylinder? Let's be very clear. What is a cylinder? Okay? It's also produced from crude oil. Okay? What are we doing? Ujwala ke kitne hai bhai? 10 crore, 28 lakh hai. Where is Rasal? Somewhere here. 10 crores, 28 lakhs was the last figure I remember. 10 crores, 28 lakhs, the correct figure. What is the price of an Ujwala cylinder to Ujwala recipient? You have something like 12 cylinders available. The consumption has gone up to 4 cylinders, I think, on an average per every Ujwala card. And he's buying a cylinder at what? 500 rupees? 500 rupees for a cylinder, and you get that expensive. Contrast that with what these characters did in that time. They were in office from 2004 and 14. They wanted to bring prices down. And Mariaji, what they did was, a very educated finance minister, he floated something called oil bonds. The oil bonds floated were for 1,41,000 crores, and poor chaps like me and my predecessor and my successor, they have to pay back 3,20,000 crores. You know, you don't know how to manage your finances, so you take a loan and then you get your grandchildren to pay for it. This is the kind. So I don't think they are serious. They don't even understand what they're doing. And now that we are on a political strain, I'd have been surprised if you hadn't gone down this road. Because I asked my people, I said, she wants to talk about energy. She said, no, but Maria will talk politics. Okay, so I'll tell you, let me tell you. There are 2 states. They are the guys who make the most noise. What did they do in Karnataka? They raised fuel prices by 3 rupees a litre. What have they done now in West Bengal? They've done something similar. So now it doesn't require
But it's good politics. It may be bad economics, but you are also doing the same.
When did we
raising the cess for ensuring you fulfill your policy achievements like infrastructure and others.
There's a fundamental difference. You must be able to see the difference. In our case, Modi ji has proved that good governance is good politics. It's self-sustaining. We are not taking loans in order to make the a commodity or the energy available. We are not passing it on to another generation. By the way, let me also tell you, in one of those states, I don't want to get too specific on that state, they've hired some consultants from Boston, BCG is Boston Consulting Group, and they're telling them how to raise the milk price. I know a lot of my old friends are sitting here who joined the world of business, so I don't want to go further than that. You don't need a consultant from BCG or McKinsey or anywhere. I can tell you, if you've got your fundamentals right, you can deliver the goods and services in an economically sustainable way and also achieve transition.
You said and you tweeted, khatakat, khatakat, bad gayi mehngai. They can also say the same.
How can they say it?
Because you also you don't have petrol prices in check.
No, hold on. This is fundamentally wrong. Petrol prices and diesel prices in India have not gone up since April 2022. We are in July 2024. And this was happened because on 2 occasions, the Honorable Prime Minister reduced the central excise duty, once in November 21 and second time in May 22. And the BJP states also reduced their VAT, which is opposite of what the other party where they are in power, because frankly, they have a problem because they are not managing their finances in a this thing. So we are not, look, if we have to provide an objective, and the money that you are collecting, by the way, those OMCs which made 1,59,000 crore profit also pay taxes. So if you're giving 80 crore people 3 meals of dry ration in a day, they are contributing. By the way, the OMCs contribute something like 19% of the country's total revenue.
But sir, the concern is that you often say that the taxation on auto fuels is justified because that money is being spent for infra.
Who says that it's justified? If I were left to me, and if I had Mr. Gadkari as my senior partner, we would have no taxation. But on the other hand, you're part of a reality. You have to raise, finances in order to do the... Look, it's very simple. There are 3 things happening. We are stepping on the E&P in a big way, exploration and production. We are doing biofuel transitioning in a massive way. In 2014, all we had was 1.4, 1.5% of biofuels. Today, we are at 15%. We had a target of 20% biofuel blending by 2030. We're going to do it by the end of the ethanol year, 2025. Today, we are making ethanol or biofuels from a variety of feeds. And I think all those industries are gaining. We are also, yesterday I was talking to how do you bring sweet sorghum into it. We are doing, we are making it biogas and ethanol from 2nd generation, from parali or agricultural waste. You're making it from broken husk. So there's a lot of work happening, and that is it. The remarkable thing is that the price of fuel at the retail outlet is not going up, except in those states where my friends are, they make a lot of decibel level, but are not able to keep their finances under control.
But then, in that case, the GST Council should act.
Madam, the GST Council operates on the basis of acceptance to everybody. I think I saw a statement by my senior colleague, Nirmala ji, who said that we should. That's as a statement of intent we did. But the finance ministers of those states have to agree to it. Now, I can recall there was an instance where the, I think the Kerala High Court directed the government, which means finance ministry, to place the GST petrol diesel issue on one of the GST Council meetings. So I think the meeting which took place in Lucknow had it on that, and as anticipated. Now, the reality is most state governments use revenue from fuel, I mean automobile fuel and the other fuel which goes into intoxicants as the major revenue source. So they're reluctant to give it up. I mean, they may say, make tall noises otherwise, but they don't give it up.
But sir, this is my last question to you. You have often said that you have managed gas through pipe. What is stopping you from managing water through pipe in Delhi?
We are doing all that. First of all, since you don't have too much time, and I don't want to take up time when Gadkari ji is sitting here, let me tell you, we are also supplying gas through pipes. The number of clients has gone up 5 times. If I remember correctly, it was 25 lakhs in 2014. It is 1 crore 25 lakhs now. Why is gas through pipes preferable? Because gas through pipes is 30% cheaper than the gas through cylinders. So we're moving on all that. We're making the cylinder cheaper. We are making... By the way, I want to say something which catches attention, as politics. I've learned this also. It's a question of another year and a half. We were able to control gas prices by putting in a base and a ceiling. Now, I think by about 2026 or 7, you will have so much gas that it will become much cheaper for everyone, including our consumers.
No, I'm talking about it in the context of Delhi. You often blame the Aam Aadmi Party government here. What about you taking the call?
I don't blame Aam Aadmi Party for anything. They are capable of self-certification on chaos. They're talking about pipeline, etc. When I was housing minister, I said, "Yeah, jitna pipeline lagwana main madad." They don't do it. They made a mess of the Delhi Jal Board. Okay, they made a mess of those, what are they called, mohalla clinics. Are world class. UN ke Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. I worked with him. He said, "I've come to see your world class mohalla clinics." Now, out of politeness, I couldn't tell him when I was hosting a dinner for him how world class they are. When we had to face the pandemic, all those compounders who used to sit there, I mean, out of cowsheds you made mohalla clinics, they all ran away. So this is all, transport service Delhi. Delhi transport service के बताऊं, 10,000 buses की sanction है, and 2,500, 3,000 are there. And then my metro expanded, the RRTSO extended, not because the Delhi government, which is a 50% partner, wanted to pay. The Supreme Court directed them to pay. So Maria, my friend, I'll tell you, Delhi mein, I don't have to say anything. They are sitting, many of them enjoying state hospitality, self-certifying the chaos that they are producing.
All right.
और liquor policy पर पहुंचा ही नहीं मैं.
Okay. Your final thoughts for this event?
This event, very good. I always like to honor people. I'm glad I'm here. And I think we've taken more than the Lifetime Achievement Award to somebody like the Metro Man. I mean, Delhi Metro today, or NCRT is what, 400 plus kilometers, nationally 965. You're carrying 65, 70 lakh passengers a day. That's real phenomenal. And you will, in a few years' time, have the world's second largest metro system. Then Solar Energy Awards. I am always humbled when I see people like this, and they're all in the private sector driving this change.
Mr. Hardeep Puri, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
giving your time, especially during the Parliament session. Thank you so much, sir.